Yo quiero math. Yo quiero.
Okay, you've done a lot of problems similar to this, so hopefully this one is not too far of a stretch to have you guys try these yet, but we'll see how this goes. Remember, when you have a fractional power, the top is the power, the bottom is the root. So when you rewrite this in a radical form, P goes underneath the radical symbol, and the power is 3 and the root is 2. Okay, now this one. Now since this 7/4 is on this whole thing, it's really 10 to the 7/4 and x to the 7/4. Okay, if it were, I don't see a good example. So if it were, and I'm just going to write this on the side, if it were 10x to the 7/4 without parentheses, then the only thing to the 7/4 power is the x, not the 10. You have to have the parentheses for it to go to both. Anyway, the top is the power, the bottom is the root. So we can keep this 10x together since there's no simplifying. The root is 4 and the power is 7, and that's the answer. Now these, let's get rid of the power first, and then do everything with the a's that you can do, and then everything with the b's that you can do. Okay, so let's get rid of the power. The way you do that is multiply the powers. And if there were just a number to a power, then you take that number to whatever power. Sometimes you have to use your calculator. But in this case, we have b(a) to the -3, b to the 8th. And when you multiply b times b to the 8th, you get b to the 9th. And this a to the -3, remember, means you have to move it to the denominator to make the power positive. So it's b to the 9th over a to the 3rd. Okay, let's do the same thing with this one. We'll get rid of the power, and we'll do everything you can with the a's and then everything you can with the b's. So this is a to the 3rd, b to the -9, a to the 5th, b to the 5th. Now, since we're multiplying, we add the powers. Of course, if you're dividing, you subtract the powers. So let's add these powers on a. That's a to the 8th. And then add the powers on b, b to the -4. When you have a negative power, you have to move it. So the answer is a to the 8th over b to the 4th. Okay, hopefully this is organized in a good way for you. Take the power. So here we have a fraction to a power of -2. Everything in this fraction goes to that power. So let's do this. We have m to the +8, n to the -4 on top, n to the -10, n to the -2, and m to the -4. Okay, so that's first. Now let's move everything you have to move. This n goes to the bottom. This n goes to the top. That m to the -4 goes to the top, and this n to the -2 goes to the top. Let's just move them, get everything with a positive power. Let's see if that makes sense. Maybe. So on the top, it looks like you have n to the 10th, m to the 8th stays there, and m to the 4th. And on the bottom, everything on the bottom moved up, but the only thing that moved down is n to the 4th. Okay? Let's see if that's really true. All three of these things moved up. So this n, I think I need this n to the 2nd power on the top also, because it has to move up. Now let's simplify what you can on the top. Okay, n to the 10th times n squared is n to the 12th. M to the 8th times m to the 4th is m to the 12th over n to the 4th. So when you multiply, they add the powers. When you divide, you subtract the powers. 12 minus 4 is 8. So this is m to the 12 over n to the 8th. Okay? Let's try the next page. It looks like it gets a little uglier. Any negative to an odd power stays negative. If it's to an even power, it makes it positive. So our answer, I don't know what the answer is going to be. It's going to be negative. Everything inside of here goes to the negative third power. So we have got an x to the negative 6, y to the negative 9 on the top, x to the negative 3, x to the positive 3, y to the negative 12. Now, if you want to organize and move stuff up and move stuff down, you can do that. There's another way you can do it. You can just put these two together, right? X to the negative 3, x to the positive 3. When you add those powers, you get 0, and x to the 0 equals 1. So it kind of like disappears, right? You could move this x to the negative 6 to the bottom. Gives you x to the positive 6 on the bottom. If you move this y to the negative 12 up, you don't have to even move this y to the negative 9. Here, I'll rewrite it right there. If you have y to the negative 9 and y to the negative positive 12 on the top, you can just add those powers and get y to the positive 3. And this is the end. Okay, I made an executive decision. I spent a lot of time trying to teach you guys how to do these problems, but they're so ugly. You really need in-person teaching to learn that stuff. So we're gonna skip it. And this problem is a review problem, so hopefully you do know how to do that. So skip 13, 15, and 17 when you do this assignment. We're just solving, and we have to get common denominators in order to solve. Remember, when you do that, you just get common denominators. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom. Just multiply the top and the bottom by n minus 1. Now we have common denominators, and you can disregard the denominators and solve this equation, 6n minus 6, because you distribute that 6. Negative 6 and 1, those add up to negative 5. So add 5 to both sides of the equal sign. Ooh. You get 8 equals 6n. And when you divide by 6, n is 4/3. That's 8/6 reduced. And that's it. Have a great day. Good luck on the other ones. Remember to skip 14, 16, and 18.